close to you. Never let me go. I'll lay it all down again. Do you say that I'm your friend? You are my desire. No one else will do. 'Cause nothing else can take your place. To feel the warmth of your embrace. Help me find a way. Bring me back to you. You're all I want. You're all I've ever needed. You're all I want. Help me know you are near. Draw me close to you. Never let me go. I'll lay it all down again. To hear you say that I'm your friend. You are my desire. No one else will do. 'Cause nothing else can take your place. To feel the warmth of your embrace. Help me find a way. Bring me back to you. You're all I want. You're all I ever needed. You're all I want. Help me know you are near. You're all I want. You're all I ever needed. You're all I want. Help me know you are near. Help me know you are near.
Good morning, everyone. Today's reading comes from the book of Job, The Voice. Once there was a man from Uz by the name of Job. He was a very good man, his character spotless, his integrity unquestioned. In fact, he so believed in God that he sought to honour him in all things. He deliberately avoided evil in all of his affairs. He had 7 sons and 3 daughters. Among Easterners, he was the most powerful and influential man. Now one day, all of Job's children were gathered together under the roof of Job's firstborn for their usual celebration, feasting and drinking wine, when a messenger came to Job. He said, "All of your children were gathered today under the roof of your firstborn to celebrate, eating a feast and drinking wine, and then a powerful wind rose up from the other side of the desert, and it struck all 4 corners of the house. It collapsed. Everyone is dead, all of those young people, every last one except me. I am the only one who got away from your son's house to tell you." Then Job stood up, tore his robe, shaved his head, and fell to the ground. Face down, Job sprawled in the dirt to worship. He said, "I was naked, with nothing, when I came from my mother's womb, and naked with nothing I will return to the earth. The Eternal has given, and he has taken away. May the name of the Eternal One be blessed." In all of this, Job neither sinned nor did he make foolish charges against God. Now Job had 3 friends. When these 3 received the word of horror that had befallen Job, they left their homes and agreed to meet together to mourn with and comfort their friend. They approached the town ash heap, but they were still far off when they caught sight of Job. Upon seeing him and apprehending the extent of his suffering, they cried out, burst into tears, tore their robes, reached down into the dust and ashes at their feet, and threw ash into the air and onto their heads. Then they sat with him on the ground and stayed there with him for 7 days and 7 nights, mourning as if he were already dead. All the while, no one spoke a single word, because they saw his profound agony and grief. O Lord, may your words live in us.
Bless the Lord, oh my soul, oh my soul. Worship His holy name. Sing like never before, oh my soul. I worship Your holy name. The sun comes up, it's a new day dawning. It's time to sing a song again. Whatever may pass and whatever lies before me, let me be singing when the evening comes. Bless the Lord, oh my soul, oh my soul. Worship His holy name. Sing like never before, oh my soul. I worship Your holy name. You're rich in love and You're slow to anger. Your name is great and Your heart is kind. For all Your goodness I will keep on singing. 10,000 reasons for my heart to find. Bless the Lord, oh my soul, oh my soul. Worship His holy name. Sing like never before, oh my soul. I worship Your holy name. And on that day when my strength is failing, the end draws near and my time has come, still my soul will sing Your praise unending. 10,000 reasons and forevermore. Bless the Lord, oh my soul, oh my soul. Worship His holy name. Sing like never before, oh my soul. I worship Your holy name. Bless the Lord, oh my soul, oh my soul. Worship His holy name. Sing like never before, oh my soul. I worship Your holy name. I worship Your holy name. I worship Your holy name.
I was once watching a video on YouTube, friends, and the video was about a former female judge who was put on trial for breaking the law. It was a painful video to watch because she used to be the one who presided such trial. But this time she was standing on the wrong side of the court. She was the one who was being called to face the court and to face the judgment. And not only that, she had lost her law license, and obviously she had also lost her job as a judge. And her fall from grace was complete when she was finally sentenced to spend time in the prison. And you know what? She had fallen from the top of the society right to the very bottom of the society. And her fall was there, was being played out in the courtroom for everyone to see. The hardest bit was when the sheriffs came to the courtroom to take the judge to the prison to execute the court's order. Her family and her supporters who were there, they all wailed as it happened, as they didn't believe her downfall. The former judge, she had to be literally be dragged from the courtroom to the prison. Her body was stiff, and her eyes were staring blankly to nothing and to no one. It was as if she had been paralyzed, friends. Now, like I say, friends, I don't really know exactly her offense, and I don't really know what she did to deserve such punishment. But in the reading that we have today from the book of Job, Job is innocent when he suffers all those things, when he experiences the injustice. And worst of all, you know what? When he loses everything in his life, his wealth, his power, his status, and worst of all, when he loses the ones that he cherished the most, his children, his sons, and his daughters. Later on, friends, in the book of Job, his wife becomes the voice of anger for the kind of injustice that Job has to suffer. And she says to Job, "Will you still not swerve in your commitments? Curse God and die." And maybe she's right. I mean, friends, Job, has every reason to curse. Life has treated him badly. And even worse than that, friends, if you read the narrative in the book of Job, you can actually see that it was God who was responsible for his suffering. That God has somehow treated him badly by allowing Satan to ruin his life. Well, in the next part of the book of Job, Job indeed curses his life. And especially, he curses the day he was born. And he says, "May the day die on which I was born, along with the night that spoke the words, 'A boy is conceived.' May that day of birth become darkness, and when it has disappeared, may God above neither seek it out, nor light find a way to shine on it." And that's from the book of Job, chapter 3. But his lips never utter the final words. He never curses God. The reading that we have today, friends, it ends with Job lying in the ashes of the ruin of his life. Now, obviously, his life continues in the next chapters of the book of Job. But I would like to invite you all to just sit with him for a while in the ashes and to also think with him, what would you do when everything and everyone that you cherish in your life has been taken away from you? What would you do? Harold Kushner, he is a prominent leader amongst the Jewish community in the United States. He is a rabbi and also an author. And his most popular book is called "When Bad Things Happen to Good People." And he wrote this book not long after he lost his son, his young son. And in the book, he grapples with the same kind of question that Job in the book of Job is asking. How can a loving God allow bad things to happen to people in the world, and especially to good people in the world? Well, you know what, friends? Today I'm not going to give you the answer because I don't think I'm qualified to give you the answer. And I tell you what, friends, there are hundreds, if not thousands, of books and literatures have been written on the subject, and I don't think we are anywhere near the answer. Because I believe no one can truly give a complete answer and a satisfactorily answer to the question. Because the best thing that we can do to the question is actually just to let the question to peel away layers upon layers of our life, layers upon layers of denial, layers upon layers of pain that we all experience in our grief. One of my favorite songs of all time, and I think most of you would know the song, is the masterpiece by Eric Clapton, Tears in Heaven. It was actually written not long after he lost his young son, Connor, who fell from a high-rise building. And in that song, he imagines meeting his son in heaven. And then he asks the question, would you know my name if I saw you in heaven? Will it be the same if I saw you in heaven? I must be strong and carry on, because I know I don't belong here in heaven. Now, obviously, friends, if you see at the lyrics have nothing to do with Christian orthodoxy. They don't pretend to be one. They express the pain and the anguish that he experiences in his grief. And you can sense in the lyrics, friends, how he grapples with the surreal and the otherworldly nature of grief, of very deep grief. Now, Eric Clapton doesn't provide an answer in his song. He is not offering a solution. He simply laments. And I think, friends, these three people, Job, Harold, and Eric, they all had a similar approach when they approach grief. They don't provide an answer. They don't come up with a solution. They ask questions. And they ask questions to themselves. They ask questions to life. And they ask questions to God. And they carry those questions perhaps for the rest of their life as they continue with their journey in life. And I tell you what, friends, people like them, they do not want easy answers. They want honesty. No matter how brutal that honesty is, they exude honesty. They don't deny reality. They don't run away from reality. They face life with their bare hearts. And just like Job, they are ready. They're not afraid to sit in the ashes of their life. And you know what, friends, as I look around and I see the faces of these people in this congregation, I see so many Jobs. I see so many Harolds. And I see so many Erics. You who do not lose your faith after someone that you loved so dearly had been taken away from you. You who dare to continue with life, even with questions in your hearts. And I see people who are not afraid to ask questions and to carry those questions perhaps to the end of your life. And I tell you what, friends, people like you have inspired me deeply. And people like you have helped me in my grief. And I think you are the one who is supposed to be standing here giving the message, because your voice is the voice of Job in real life. Your story in your life is the story of God in the life of Job. And when we hear your story, we actually hear the wisdom that God has for all of us. In the reading that we have today, friends, I think Job's friends, they do the right thing. When they come to visit Job, they don't say anything. They sit there with Job in the ashes of his life. They don't say any words, because no words can truly ease and soothe the pain that Job is experiencing, friends. And perhaps that is what we are called to do. Perhaps we are called to be companions on the road together. We are not called to provide answer to the questions that people ask or the questions that all of us ask. We are to hold one another's hands on the journey. We are to listen to one another. And more importantly, friends, I think we are to learn from one another. And perhaps only then that we can truly hear in the deep recesses of our heart the voice of the one who can truly soothe and ease our pain and our sorrow. So let me finish with some more words from Eric Clapton's Tears in Heaven. Beyond the door, there is peace, I am sure, and I know there will be no more tears in heaven. Amen.